Good morning, YouTube. Walk with me while I try to get myself killed getting back to the bus stop from hanging out in this Panera. I've been listening to this quartet, a foursome of men in their 70s, talk about dumb bullshit for the last 2 hours, and it's been phenomenal. It's been fantastic. You want to talk about just fucking good, entertaining, dumb shit. You guys watch reality TV and whatever, me, presumably, and I listen to old men talk about dumb bullshit. This guy just gave a fucking TED Talk on the difference in Yamaha and GMC and Ford fucking compression motors or some dumb shit. I don't even know what the fuck he was talking about. It was incredible. These guys are just, yep, Oh, man. It was amazing. They talked politics. They said all the same tropes. All the tropes you've heard. Irrespective of party since the 1970s. These men are just repeating the same shit they heard their granddads talking about before TV was a thing anybody did. It's awesome. Oh, man. I really need to figure out a way either to preserve or to have battery as I emerge from this part of town, or as I emerge from my spot in the mornings, because I came out today. It was so nice. Last night, it was so nice. I got to sleep in my smallest clothes. So my thermals and my t-shirt, I got to strip down to all that. I didn't have to manage my blankets. I was able to sleep with my sleeping bag open. It was so comfortable, just so perfectly temperate. And it's going to be that temperature most nights until until Christmas, basically. That's how, man, Ohio, last year, the winter, I kept tripping the fuck out because in January it was like 65 degrees outside. It never got cold. It was colder in the house the last 3 winters than it was outside. So I'm super not worried. I'm just not worried. But anyway, as I come walking out of this parking lot, this fucking people, man. Anyway, as I come emerging from my parking lot, there was just the most awesome sickle moon right exactly where the sun is right now. You could see the silvery, translucent outline of the full moon, and then just a sliver, just the most perfect sliver of bright silvery reflection of the moon. It was so beautiful. And I had 2% battery, so I couldn't even snap a picture of it. My camera wouldn't even open. It was awesome. And then here, yeah, I know it's my face here where the sun is, right here behind me. I can do this. That. It's kind of, this town's going to be weird about it if I turn around, but can you see this? Picturesque. I can't zoom in or anything, but man, I assume that most of you are watching this from your phones rather than your computers or your televisions. You got to communicate with me which aspect ratio you need me to film in. Because I just film in what's comfortable for me and what I don't mind. How I imagine these things are best viewed. I don't like that. People have real loud cars. real loud music, windows rolled down, music real loud. When it's tacky music just annoys me, so whatever. Those old men were great. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to those old men bullshit. And the water tower, I showed you the hill with the water tower, and the water tower was perfectly outlined by the first burning rays of the morning sun. You got just this perfect stacked layered, almost exactly like you see in paintings of the red and then the purple and then the blues back to the black of night deep up above it as we turn in space. And man, it just looks so fucking awesome. And it just set my whole day ready for wonder. And I just wonder if maybe, John Keel, I shouldn't source when I say things like this, but something that I've done for years, I did before John Keel suggested it, but he had this book. It's like a almost post-ironic joke, satire of self-help books, but he actually gives really good advice, and the only advice you really need from that book, his dietary advice is a joke. And he even pulls the make sure you only read one chapter a week so you don't you can make sure to it's a joke. It's a comedy book, it's a satire, but the point I'm trying to make is that he does give one good piece of advice, and it's something that I did before I read John Keel, and then it's something I stopped doing over the course of the last 3 years. And so I have in that way blinded myself in the study of whether this works, and I have three different experience sets to draw from as I speak. So before I knew it was an idea, after I knew it was an idea, and then after I stopped doing it. And that's to walk. Walk for about an hour a day. Now he says to walk, and this is how I would recommend it, and in fact how I always think about it when I see people recreational walking, is walk and just for a half an hour. Just walk in any direction. And that doesn't have to be in a straight line. Just walk for a half an hour and then retrace your steps for a half an hour. And you've walked for an hour. And then the amount of ground that you cover over the course of an hour will change according to your changing fitness levels, your changing endurance, your changing engagement with the environment. And what you'll learn is that the only thing that remains constant about your journey for an hour is that it's different. The only thing that remains constant about it is change. The only thing that remains unchanging about your walks is that they're never the same. And if you do that for an hour, first of all, you'll just stay alive longer. Your gut biome will work more efficiently if you drink, I think it's like 8 ounces of water in the morning, and you complete an hour of walking a day. You're just going to be healthier. Your metabolism will kick in, and your body will just melt off of you. Like last night, I was all chubby and fat from the day's accumulated calories, and then I've got up, or I've done my walking, I've had my water, and my body has just shed all of that. And it doesn't shed it. You think that you lose weight when you dump, And that's just not where it goes. You're losing all of that body fat when you breathe. So what's good is to get your heart rate moving. Just get your heart moving, get your lungs moving. So when I walk up that hill every morning, when I do these recordings, you'll hear me breathing harder, and I'm not embarrassed about that, because you know what I'm doing? I'm burning calories. So all of that, shut off right then. Just walking up that hill, which is like 15 steps, and it's not that difficult. But the heart rate is what matters. This isn't really I guess this is today's homelessness blog. Last night was awesome. This is what I'm learning in homelessness. I'm on my way downtown right now. I'm waiting on the bus to go to Christ Stable to get something to eat, and then I have work to do. I haven't decided what's in my heart I haven't decided because I haven't. See, this is a problem, and we do need to talk about my Swiss cheese brain. Because I wake up and I go, I don't know what I'm doing today because I don't have a job. And that's, just hold on. And what I mean by that is I don't do the exact same thing on the same schedule. So it's like I don't wake up and I go, all right, so I'm going to be working at Sonic today, which means I'm going to be doing my management gig, which means I'm going to be dealing with the exact same problems I deal with every day. I'm going to be taking the same orders from the same people, and the only thing that's different about my day is the order that it all happens in. I'm going to be teaching the same kids the same things. Every day is the same. I don't have that problem now. I could give myself that problem, but I've talked about it into this microphone enough. First of all, there's a return on investment that you get by showing up to your manager job at Sonic and doing the manager job every single day that I'm not getting from showing up and playing Final Fantasy every day, that sort of thing. There's a return on investment of time, and this isn't a complaint. So what happens is I'm inviting you in a little bit more as I work on this here and there. I've got myself a few weeks ahead on different projects, because my time that I'm able to actually sit down and work in the way that you think of as labor is in 2-hour chunks when I get it. And so it's not as easy for me to do the thing. And I like that challenge, but because of that, I don't have like a schedule. I don't have like good mnemonics for what I need done. And so what I do is I have projects in different stages of finished, so that when I sit down, I can look, okay, what was the last thing you published? What did you work on immediately after that? Did you finish it? Did you publish it? And then that's how my day goes. And then I remember, okay, while you were working on this, you had a brief flash of inspiration and revelation where you realized you need to do this. Is that worth pursuing right now, or does it need to be put a pin in and stuck up on the crazy board until you have time? This is how my time is spent, and my mind. This is how I manage myself. And a lot of that is because my brain is Swiss cheese from concussions. I had an inordinate amount of severe and life-threatening concussions as a child. Beginning like in my infancy, my mother dropped me directly on the crown of my head in an airport when I was like a year old, less probably. And then I fell off of monkey bars and knocked myself unconscious for a few hours at school in 3rd grade. So I have no memories of 3rd grade whatsoever. I don't remember 3rd grade at all. That wasn't in 3rd grade anyway. It was in 2nd grade, and I don't remember 2nd grade at all. That's how little I remember of 2nd grade. Is I remember running up and jumping to grab that monkey bar and swinging up, and I remember watching my brother play baseball that evening and my mother telling me not to go to sleep. She's like, you're gonna get really sleepy sitting here, don't go to sleep. And then I had a severe concussion in 8th grade, playing football. I've told that story so many times, but I severely concussed myself in 8th grade playing football. I gave myself what is known as a cerebral hematoma. I was bleeding in my brain, and so I got to spend a night in the hospital with everyone around me just assuming I was dead. A dead kid, just waiting to die. And I'm fine, but my brain, I am all but certain that those are definitely not the only times I was severely concussed, but I'm pretty sure I've got post-concussion syndrome. Just because I fit the bill in the patterns of behavior, like symptomatically, I have the same kind of pattern memory loss, but high functioning intelligence. So the point is, I'm trying to figure out how to monetize doing puzzles and word plays, and one of the things you can do is you can do math, and you can do like I just said, wordplay and puzzles. So exactly what I'm doing, trying to articulate the geometries that I see in my brain into words, is exactly that. So my writing, these recordings, I'm actually really proud of the meditation I did last night in my tent. That helped me, and I've got it. I can read it back, and I'll be reading that out loud today. Like things like that. Like I forgot I'd done that until I was just standing here. I posted it this morning. I mean, it's up. I don't have a great temporal memory like that. So now we've discussed that. And you can help me for just $1 a day. No, really. Lowering my stress level with things like my hanging out in Panera, because people look at you differently when you're hanging out in a place that they're providing for you. And I don't even mean the people that work there. I mean the people that actually patronize that place, right? They're like, you're why people bitch about bathrooms being more and more expensive. And I'm like, I know that. I know. Look, I paid my dues, all right? I paid my dues. 20 years in retail and fast food and food service in general is my dues, all right? I've cleaned many more bathrooms than you have, unless you're a mother. Many more bathrooms than you have. I paid my dues. And it is my right to do what I'm doing. I'm in the right. I'm allowed this. And in fact, I told that judge I was putting myself on the mercy of the court so that I didn't have to live in a tent as a homeless person. And he said, you got a week to figure it out for yourself. What I just did was probably going to get me in trouble. I'm probably not allowed to make it cool to smoke. So let me just tell you now, if you saw my brand, don't smoke that brand. Don't smoke any brand. This is not an endorsement of cigarettes. I just wanted something with my hand in my mouth, because I am stressed out about admitting that I feel like it's election day, and I do have a right to be homeless, and I was made to be homeless. So I am, if I'm doing anything, I am absolutely protesting the state of our government, the state of our nation, the way we behave toward one another. This homelessness vlog, I think today might be, I'm pushing 40 days. I'm pushing 40 days, and every day I survive and that I'm comfortable and it's warm, I'm gonna need to strip out of this shit by the end of the day and actually bathe again. The more that's true, the more the lack of faith and the untrust and the unbelief in me as I entered this just really becomes a burr in my ass. All right. And the more something becomes a burr in my ass, the more likely I am to become oppositional in my defiance. And the more likely I am to become intemperate in my language choice. And so what I've noticed is that there are a bunch of different people who occupy the shaggy mantle. When I write and when I'm doing this and when I sit down to each of these different projects, there's a different artistic voice speaking. And that's on you to figure out which one of me I am. That's on you. And it is a mystery, and I find it very interesting. Now that I see it and I notice it, and I'm looking for it, and I'm asking the questions of myself that you need to be asking, because God damn it, somebody's got to ask them or I'm never going to get better. Not in a meaningful way, not in the way that you want I don't even know what you want from me, but not the very specific way that you want in order for you to agree to like and subscribe and share and do all those things that are going to help me actually monetize, so you don't have to hear me make Patreon and Cash App pitches in these all the time. And that's where I'm at. I'm going to go work. I'm going to feel good about my work. I was able to return some tent spikes yesterday, so I got $10 in my pocket. I've got $2.50 lined up to get a bag of chips and a Mountain Dew, and I'm going to need another pack of cigarettes in another few days. I'm going to need more weed in a few days after that, and then I'm going to start to get grumpy. I'm going to be real grumpy and irascible and hard, probably a major dickhead for about 2 weeks, starting like 5 days from now. And that's just where we're at. Or until I can make $50 a month. Or we'll just have to cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. And then my knees are going to hurt, and my ankles are going to hurt, and my teeth are going to hurt, and I'm just going to be a real dick about it. You're going to hear about it, because I'm going to do these vlogs where I'm like, oh man, life is suddenly much more miserable than it was now that I'm not stoned. I haven't even really that's not true. I've gotten baked the last 2 nights, but I haven't gotten baked when the sun was up, and I've been on my feet since before the sun in about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. That in its own right feels good, because it takes so much less now. Kids, just use less. Don't use when the sun is out. I was talking to this old man, and he made the point that it used to be a sin. It was a crime against God to be intoxicated while the sun was out, certainly before noon. And that's something that I've been thinking about this intensely, because I sit in public a lot now, and people don't really care. They don't really look at you funny. They don't say anything, because they would do it too. We've all just kind of accepted that vaping, because it doesn't stink, isn't smoking. What we mean is, don't burn any kind of dried or otherwise cured plant because it stinks and it sticks to everything. But as a habitual vapor for the last 5 or 6 years, I'll tell you, that vape gets everywhere. The screen on my phone will never come clean. Never again will the screen of my phone come clean from all that damn resin that's got all over it, just from exhaling, smoking and exhaling, and it getting on it. So I mean, we are vapors getting resin and getting nicotine stains everywhere we go, everywhere we're doing that big cloud, that goes somewhere. That's not water. It's like sugar. It's mostly sugar. And so you're just getting sticky sugar resin everywhere, and it is actually very rude. And so maybe we need to just think about that maybe we don't need to be intoxicated all the time. Maybe there's a time and a place and a good reason. Says a stoner. Here comes the bus. Says a person who spent much of the last decade just entirely blitzed in public during the day. maybe we shouldn't do that. I know I feel better when I don't. All right, take care, y'all. Bus is here. You know what I say at the end of these. I believe in you guys.